See Destiny Productions presents Power to Win with Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter. Expect a powerful half-hour broadcast that allows you to engage from the business world to the spiritual world, to be inspired and to be informed, empowering, enlightening, mentoring, enriching. Like us on Facebook and follow us on YouTube and Instagram. Remember, you have the power to win with Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter.
Welcome to Power to Win. Let me take a moment and open this session of Power to Win in prayer with you tonight. Oh Lord, our God, how excellent is your name in all of the earth, from the rising of the sun until the going down of the same. Your name is worthy to be praised. And we praise and magnify you for just being a phenomenal God, for protecting and keeping us. Now allow us to be able to be empowered from this session and this series. This is my prayer. In Jesus' name, amen. Again, welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight. Take a moment and tag someone and let them know that Power to Win is on. Make sure you invite other entrepreneurs, business executives, emerging leaders, pastors, and ministry leaders to tune in now. Take a moment and encourage a young person to start their journey to success by listening to Power to Win. Our scriptorial reference for this season is found in 1 Corinthians 2:9. But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. The overall theme for this season of Power to Win is shifting paradigms to align with destiny. Shifting paradigms to align with destiny. Over the past several months, we have focused on the topics of the promise. The topic of the promise. I entrust you have enjoyed the previous segments of this series. If you missed one, go back to my website, www.valeriedanielscarter.com. Again, that's www.valeriedanielscarter.com. And after selecting the Library Series tab, you can enjoy what has already been shared in relationship to this series. We've discussed the promise of wisdom and knowledge, the promise of favor and insight, the promise of peace beyond understanding, the promise of health, healing, and wellness, the promise of divine protection, and the promise of good success. And tonight we will finalize our focus relative to the topic of the promise of wealth and increase. The promise of wealth and increase. Dr. Garba and Carol Brown did a phenomenal job in sharing with us over the last several weeks nuggets on this very critical topic. I believe the combination of salvation and wealth is powerful and achievable for each and every believer through faith, focus, and humility. What did I say? It's achievable. How do you get it? Through faith, focus, and humility. One must be careful not to idolize your increase, but allow it to work with you and not define you. You should not allow your wealth or what your increase has brought to you to define you. You should use it properly. Wealth is not just about financial resources. Let's just talk about that for a second. Now, don't get me wrong, financial resources are great to have and we all want them, but it's not just about financial resources. It's about responsibly balancing and managing various resources to obtain increase or knowledge. The wealth of knowledge and understanding, the wealth of financial worth, and the wealth of relationships are really important when we're dealing with the totality of life. Let me say those three things again. The wealth of knowledge and understanding, the wealth of financial worth, and the wealth of relationships. Those are three critical, what I call foundation points to the totality of life. Let's first talk about financial success. Financial success is often defined as the ability to achieve one's financial goals and maintain a stable financial situation. I'm going to say that one more time. A stable financial situation. It is the state of having enough financial resources to cover all necessary expenses while also having some left over to save for the future and to pursue some of your business or personal financial objectives. It's about being able to take care of your obligations and then having some to set aside to pursue after some personal goals or business objectives that you may have. If you're living from Peter or robbing from Peter, the way they say it, to pay Paul, and living from paycheck to paycheck, you need to go back and really define how you're spending what you have. And we're going to talk about that a little later on. I got something for you, a little story, a challenge that I gave to one of my employees, and they didn't believe it could happen until I showed them it could happen. One of the most important aspects of financial success is having a solid financial plan. And I know sometimes you don't want to take the energy and the effort that it takes to lay out your plan, and then you don't want to take the time required each and every month to measure yourself against your plan. But I gotta tell you, if you really want to be successful, you need to take time to lay out a financial plan of success for yourself, and then every week or every month benchmark yourself against that plan to see where you are. The more frequently you do it, the better off you'll be, because you'll know whether or not you're going to hit your targets by the end of the month. So if your goal is to save $1,000 by the end of this month, every week set aside $250. And then one week you might fall a little short and you can't set that $250 aside. Take care of your obligations and then maybe try to set aside $300. So at the end of the month, when you're looking at the finality of that month, you're saying, hey, I made my goal. And I'm going to tell you something. It's better to have smaller short-term goals and achieve those goals than for you to create some large, unachievable plan and then you become depressed because you don't make it. I'd rather see you save $50 a month and really do it than to say you're going to save $5,000 a month and never do it. Take time to outline your plan. It makes you feel good when you accomplish a goal. The plan should include a budget which consists of your income, your expenses, and your savings goals. It's not just about your income and expenses, but you need to have a line item in your budget that says, I need to set aside or save X amount of dollars every month. And allow that to be just like your mortgage or your food bill or your car bill. It's got to get paid. It should also involve a clear strategy for debt management, investment, and retirement planning. So this is, Val Carter talking to you all tonight on the real side. Very few people understand that you have to have a strategy around debt. You just can't create debt and more debt and more debt and not have a plan to how you intend to pay it off. Credit card companies will give you as many credit cards as you want. And you'll be out there charging stuff and feeling good when you're buying it. But my, when it has to be paid, it's a whole different situation. And you don't want to damage your credit by trying to keep up with the Joneses. Keep up with yourself. I really want to impress that on people. So many times we want to measure success by material things, and that's okay sometimes. But really measure success by what you define success to be for you. So take time to look at your debt and strategize. How am I going to get rid of this debt? Or how will I eliminate or reduce my debt load? Let me tell you something about debt. Debt can weigh on you. It can make you feel heavy. It can make you feel depressed. You'll look around and wonder, how did I get myself into this situation? Sometimes in life that happens. Don't become overwhelmed by debt. Set yourself up and rub yourself off and shake yourself off and say, I'm going to create a plan to eliminate or reduce this debt so it does not become a depressor, or I don't internalize it and allow it to affect my emotion or my spirit. Tell you something, and this is free. Y'all can take it for what it's worth, but I'm going to tell you something. In a relationship, there are certain things that can destroy a strong family or a peaceful home. And one is debt. The other is mistrust. And the other is the lack of communication and love. Y'all remember that, and y'all will have a happy home. Avoid them by any means possible, and it'll help your home. That was free. That was free. That was free. That was free. So have a strategy for managing your debt, and then make sure you take time to say, what type of investments do I want to make as an individual? Do I want to buy a home? Do I want to have an investment account, a 401k account at my company or my organization, certain retirement accounts that will benefit me long term? Take time to take care of your own financial business. Don't be so busy spending that you don't take time to organize what needs to be spent. To achieve financial success, one must have the right mindset. This includes a willingness to make sacrifices in the short term to achieve long-term financial gains. And I can tell you this from experience. You may see me now, but I can tell you that throughout my beginning career of a businesswoman, I made tons of sacrifices in order to set myself up for the future. They were short-term sacrifices that yielded long-term return. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do. Sometimes you may have to, stretch it out and work a little overtime, or you may have to stretch it out and make some sacrifices in what you buy. Everybody else is buying Gucci's. You might have to buy an Uchi for a while. But don't, feel bad. Just walk with them with your Uchi and won't nobody even know that it's not a Gucci. So, no, I'm just messing with you. But really, make and determine, how can I sacrifice? Maybe you can't, go out and buy alligator shoes, my brother, with red bottoms on them. Okay? Everybody doesn't have to know that, you're in a situation where you're making a little sacrifice. Shine up your leather shoes. Look good and strut just like everybody else. Hold your head up and move forward. It requires sacrifice sometimes. It also requires you being disciplined with spending habits and making wise financial decisions that align with your overall financial goal. Being disciplined and making wise decisions and having spending habits. In other words, this becomes a habit. Me setting aside, me not extending myself becomes a habit, because it's going to match my overall objective for me that I have financially. Let me tell you something I've noticed over the past several years, and it's really started to concern me even more. I've noticed that when people don't have a balanced approach and they don't have the right mindset in trying to set themselves up financially, they'll stretch themselves in the wrong direction. They will use unhealthy means of getting access. Some of the loan companies that charge extreme high interest rates, they'll use that to get access when indeed, in many cases and most cases, it's damaging themselves. The other thing I've noticed is that this young generation has a different approach to stuff. They're so focused on the right now, having an instantaneous moment experience, and having immediate encounters, so much so that they fail to properly understand the importance of a balanced approach and planning for long term stability. If they're not careful, they will end up with a void of wealth and nothing to show for their life of experiences. They got this thing now, I'm paying for this experience, and they will spend boatloads of money to go on a trip that they can't afford, and they end up spending. I mean, I'm just going to be transparent with you guys. I had a family member, and she and some of her friends went on a vacation, which is good. We all need to take time off and take a vacation, and I'm speaking even to myself tonight. But we all need to take a moment and get a breathe and get away. And I was talking with her. I said, well, where are you guys going? And she told me where they were going. I said, okay. I said, have you guys kind of budgeted where everybody's going to share in? Are you guys sharing? What's going on? And they said, no, no, no. We've rented a villa way out on, some mountain somewhere. And this is all about experience. And I said, well, how much is this experience costing you? And when she told me how much this experience was costing her, I said, baby, do you recognize that you could buy a brand new whole lot of stuff for what you getting ready to spend in a week? Oh, she says, you don't understand, Aunt Val. I'm almost getting ready to tell y'all who it is. You don't understand, Aunt Val. It's about the experience and having the opportunity. I said, let me share you something with you. Some of this stuff, with social media the way it is now, you can experience online and still have a whole lot of money in your pocket. It's nothing wrong, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having exotic vacations if you can afford them and if you don't need the money. But don't just do something to try to keep up so you can be in a room with other people and say, yeah, well, I went here and I did that. And, it didn't bother them to go there and do that, but you broke as Job's turkey when you leave the social event. Make sure you take time to understand what this experience will cost you, because the one thing I can assure you is that memories soon fade away, but you always need to eat. Achieving financial success requires a combination of hard work, dedication, and a willingness to learn and adapt. It involves you making smart financial decisions, such as investing in assets that generate positive and sometimes passive income. It requires you maintaining a good credit score. Don't damage your credit score. And if you by chance your credit score is already, messed up, take time to start repairing your credit score. I tell people all the time, I want to say 90%, I might even say 95% of people in the world get into credit jams sooner or later. It's recognizing, number one, that I've gotten in this credit jam, I've messed up my credit score, so now what can I do to repair my credit score? What can I do to make it better? Because bad credit costs you in every category. Bad credit costs you more when you go to get a loan for your house or for a car. Bad credit costs you when you get ready to go to get insurance. Do you know the difference of insurance costs when you have bad credit versus good credit? You can take a person with good credit and all of the savings that they will have compared to somebody that has destroyed their credit almost can make another income for certain people. It is so critically important that you take time to manage your credit score. Check it. See where you are. See what you need to do and work on it. Don't just say, well, it's bad, it's destroyed, and nothing I can do. No. Take time to work on improving your credit score and managing your debt effectively. You got an obligation that you can't pay. Call up the lender and say, look, let me work something out with you so that you have a history of repeated good payments with that lender. Manage your business. Don't let the business manage you. It also means staying informed about financial news and trends and regularly assessing or reassessing your financial plan to make sure you're still on track. Understand, over the last year, interest rates have escalated. They've gone up. So the same credit card that may have charged you 5.99 a year ago is now charging you 8.99 and 9.99. The same credit card that was charging you 15 and 14%, which I call, excessive rates, are charging you 21 and 25%. Think about it. Would you want to give away a quarter of your body? Well, that's what you do when you pay somebody 25% of what you got. You just cut your body in four and just hand a quarter of it. Give them your arm. That's really what you're doing. Think about how you're doing what you're doing. It's better to save and acquire things the way you can acquire them in a meaningful, safe way than to be reckless with your credit. Make sure you stay on track with the things that are important. Ultimately, financial success is about having freedom to pursue your dreams and your goals without being hindered by financial constraints. This is a true story. Many of you know Dick Gregory. I invited Dick one year to come and be our guest speaker at one of our events. And I got to tell you, one of the funniest guys in the whole wide world. And so Dick was, doing his routine and cracking jokes and telling everybody about what was going on and how things were happening. And then he did this session, and it literally brought tears to my eyes. I was laughing so hard. He talked about when he got into a little, problem with his credit and debt. And he said that, the debt collectors will call in the house and he would pick up the phone and say, hello, how are you? Oh, no, he's not here right now. He's not, call back. He'll talk to you later. Oh, yeah. He's not here right now. He said he'd hang up on him, and he said he'd, look and see who it was that was calling. And he said one time he picked up the phone and he used his normal voice, and they realized who he was. And he said, and they said to him, Mr. Gregory, you need to come and pay this bill. And he said he thought about that thing, and he looked at it and said, hold on, let me let you talk to somebody. And he said he passed the phone to his wife. And his wife said, well, who is it? Oh, somebody that just want to talk to you. And his wife said, well, who is it? Just somebody, just say hello. And his wife picked up the phone and said, hello. And they asked for the money to pay the bill. And she said, what bill? She had no idea that Dick had made these bills out there. He said he grabbed the phone from her and said, oh, woman, I forgot to tell you about that one. So many times you put yourself in a position to where you have to use, some unconventional ways. Just go and talk to your creditors and tell them, say, look, I'm going through something right now. This is what I can do. I want to be honest with you, and this is what I, am able to take care of. Why? Solomon, the wisest man that ever lived, in Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, verses 5 and 6, he said this, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. But in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. He will direct your path even when you're going through difficult situations. We have to learn how to totally trust and depend on God for our success, for our good success. Many of you ask me, Dr. Carter, give us business tips to be successful. My first tip to you is go read His Business is Your Business. It's Where Destiny Takes You, a book I authored that talks about and gives you nuggets to be able to plan. Go back and look at and listen to some of the broadcasts that talk about the VDC 10-step process for creating and designing your business. We've got to learn how to evaluate our plans and determine whether or not it will line up. Those plans will line up for our life goals. When you acknowledge that God has given you a direction, don't just let it be a direction that God has given to you. You have to take then that direction and put it in structure so that you will be able to access destiny. Well, my time is up. I wanted to share a story with you about financial health, but I don't have time. I'll just give you this little nugget, and maybe one time I'll be able to share this story about financial security. I had an employee that worked with me, and she told me, and I was working with her on her financial structure. She told me, well, Mrs. Carter, the reason that you're able to pay all your bills is because you have so much money. I said, no. I said, if I had your paycheck, I'd be able to pay my bills because I would know how to reduce my bills to manage through my season of making this happen. She says, oh, no, you couldn't take this check you giving me and pay your bills. I said, let's do this. I said, for 6 months, I'm going to make my salary your salary. Now, I'm not going to make my salary your salary. Let me say that. I said, I'm going to make your salary my salary, but I'm not going to make my salary your salary. I said, but I'm going to reduce my salary to your salary, and I'm going to live, and let's see who has the most money after 6 months. And I reduced my salary to her salary, but I also managed my expenses based on her salary. And after 6 months, guess who won? I won. Then I raised my salary back up. But anyway, all I want to tell you is that life can be fulfilling. Don't overextend yourself. Learn how to define your own path, and everybody's path is not going to be the same. Use the resources that God has given you to be able to fulfill your life, and be happy with what you have, because greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world, and He will allow you to have greater abundance. The key to getting greater abundance is when you give. Be a tither, when you pray, and when you fast. My time is out. Let me close in prayer with you. O Lord our God, how excellent is thy name in all of the earth. From the rising of the sun until the going down of the same, your name is worthy to be praised. And even these individuals, God, that desire to have increase in financial health, I pray that you will give them the wisdom, the knowledge, and understanding as to how to do it and how to navigate to the place of total financial freedom. This is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much for joining with me tonight. You don't want to miss a single Tuesday night. I'm looking for you to join me next week. And remember, too, this is the place for Tuesday night chat. And start your chat party every Tuesday night. The promise is yours for the asking. Remember to like us and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember to visit my website at www.valeriedanielscarter.com. Until next Tuesday, and God bless you, and know that you have the power to win.
We're so glad you joined us tonight. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on YouTube and Instagram. We look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, you have the power to win with Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter.